TomoNews presents Air Travel.
South Korean airline leaves door open during flight. Jin Air, a budget airline affiliated with Korean Airlines, failed to properly close the front door of their plane during a flight over the weekend. 163 passengers were on board the Boeing 737 when it departed from Cebu, Philippines. Passengers complained of headaches and felt pain in their ears, probably due to the loss of cabin pressure. Video recorded by one of the passengers shows a gap in the door frame big enough to fit a finger in. Listen, you can also hear the leaking air. After just 30 minutes in the air, the plane landed safely back at Cebu. "I thought I would die here because I was numb with a headache," one of the passengers told South Korea's Yonhap News Television. Head of Jin Air's Busan office, Park Mun-seung, said, "I am sorry and I apologize for this." The passengers were placed on another flight and arrived in Busan, South Korea, 15 hours behind their original flight schedule. Hey, at least it's better than never getting there because the door of your plane blew open. Am I right?
Baby born in flight on Indonesian airline. Childbirth can be a nerve-wracking experience, one we imagine would only be made more terrifying were it to happen, I don't know, say, on a plane? That's exactly what befell one Indonesian woman during a flight from Jakarta to Bali on July 8th. Here's how it all went down. A heavily pregnant 28-year-old Nurul Saima was traveling on the Batik Air flight when she was suddenly hit with painful contractions. An alarmed flight attendant asked passengers if anyone on board was a doctor, and luckily, one came forward and offered to get his hands dirty. Meanwhile, the quick-thinking pilot contacted the control tower at Bali Airport and requested an ambulance be on standby. Cabin crew and the off-duty doctor sprang into action and delivered the baby smoothly, much to everyone's relief. You'll be happy to hear the newborn boy weighed in at a healthy 5.3 pounds and has all the right number of fingers and toes. The flight touched down just after 9 a.m. local time, and mother and child were immediately taken to hospital. A company spokesperson praised the cabin crew, pilot, and those on the ground for flawless coordination, and also thanked passengers who helped ensure a happy ending. He did, however, implore pregnant passengers to truthfully report their gestational progress before flying, so that dangerous medical situations like these can be avoided. United Airlines passengers feel the squeeze. United Airlines has confirmed it will retrofit some of its Boeing 777 jets to include 10 abreast seating in economy. The airline will reconfigure coach class in 19 of its Boeing 777s on domestic routes, mostly serving Hawaii. United will rip out its current 9 seats in a row 2-5-2 layout to squeeze 10 passengers per row into a 3-4-3 configuration. That means the aisles in economy class will become narrower by around 3 inches each. The new layout will also mean a reduction in elbow room, as seat width decreases from 18 inches to 17 inches. But legroom shouldn't be affected. The only way that would be reduced is if United added extra rows of seats. Capacity on a typical United Airlines Boeing 777 flying domestic routes will increase by 20 passengers, from 344 to 366. International routes on United will retain a 9 abreast 3-3-3 configuration in economy. But the move reflects a growing trend in aviation, with a 3-4-3 layout used on at least some planes by carriers including Emirates, American Airlines, and KLM. According to Boeing, more than half of the 777s it sold last year had 10 abreast seating in coach class. Increased capacity can help airlines raise revenue, which they say keeps fares lower. Adding an extra seat per row is one of the least extreme ideas floated by airlines recently. More out-of-left-field plans have included an Airbus patent for split-level seating, and French manufacturer Zodiac's idea to make passengers sit facing each other in a hexagon layout. Both Ryanair and Chinese budget carrier Spring Airlines have even said they would like to offer standing seats on passenger aircraft.
Top 10 urban legends about flying. How many do you know? People can get sucked out of an airplane if you open doors during flight. You can get stuck to the airplane toilet if you flush while seated. Don't be silly. The Daily Mail published an article titled 10 Myths About Air Travel That You Should Know Before Flying, to debunk some popular mile-high legends. It's physically impossible for a person to open an airplane door mid-flight. When the cabin is pressurized and the plane's flying at a high altitude, The difference in air pressure is too great. And there's no way your butt's gonna get stuck to an airplane toilet seat. Your butt would have to create an airtight seal, which is nearly impossible. If there's any gap, you won't get stuck. Ever heard that airlines dump waste in flight? Nope, your waste is stored in a tank until landing. Can you get drunk quicker on a plane? I wish, but it's nonsense. Some people think an airplane will crash if it gets hit by lightning. Nope, the current would only flow through the body of the plane. Will the oxygen mask get you high? Unfortunately, no. They only allow you to continue breathing. Can the air on a plane make you sick? Well, the air has been heavily filtered to remove bacteria. However, the drinking water and tray tables carry more germs. Ew. Smoking is banned in toilets, but they are still equipped with ashtrays just in case any smoker needs to dispose of a cigarette butt. If anyone around you still believes these legends, it's high time you set them straight.
Airbus designs custom modular plane interiors. Airbus has released a new concept called Transpose, which may allow travelers to enjoy dining in restaurants or even go to the gym while flying. The new concept makes use of existing cargo planes and their large doors and reinforced floor rails. The plane interiors are built in modular sections. These sections can include a gym and even a play zone for children. The modular sections can easily be loaded onto the cargo plane. Once in the plane, they are securely latched to the floor. Different interior spaces can be swapped. For example, sleeping compartments for red-eye flights can be exchanged for a coffee shop and seating for short daytime flights. Airbus has already recruited engineers and designers to work on a demonstration module in a full-size plane mock-up. The company says the concept could be fully realized in just a few years.
Supersonic passenger flights will soon be a reality. A new airliner that boasts supersonic speeds is set to revolutionize air travel once it takes flight in 2023. Boom Technologies' planned supersonic aircraft will have a cruise speed of 1,451 miles per hour, 2.6 times faster than any other airliner. While a flight from New York to London would typically take 7 hours on a commercial flight, the trip would take a little over 3 hours on a supersonic airliner. The Mach 2.2 aircraft will have 55 seats, each priced at about $5,000 for a round-trip ticket. A 1/3 scale prototype called the XB-1 will begin test flights in 2018 to demonstrate and refine the key technologies required for supersonic travel. Unlike the now retired Concorde and its notoriously loud sonic boom, the Boom aircraft will have turbofans for noise reduction and won't be much louder than a normal plane. The company does have some hurdles to face before their project comes to fruition. Supersonic flights are still banned in the US, but with federal laws currently set up for renegotiation, that could soon change.
Airlines are doing all sorts of things to get more seats filled. All across the world, airlines are trying new ways to get more passengers. Last week, Emirates dropped first class from some of their flights between London and Dubai in a bid to get more people traveling. In the US, things are a bit different. Over time, the average width of US airline seating has gradually shrunk, despite the weight of the average American going up. Airlines have also decreased pitch, the legroom and space between seating rows, in a bid to accommodate more passengers on flights. Some seating manufacturers have also reduced the thickness of seats. The airline interiors industry is said to be worth $17 billion and is expected to grow in the coming decade. How do you feel while traveling? Let us know in the comments below.
Flying has never been so frustrating. Wait times at airport security checks could reach epidemic levels this summer, when air travel usually peaks. The Transportation Security Administration is advising U.S. travelers to be at the airport 3 hours early due to long security lines. The TSA advisory comes after lengthy waiting times resulted in thousands of missed flights and delays in airports across the country. Passengers who come unprepared and bring more than the allowed number of carry-ons are partly to blame. But with almost 3 million travelers passing through screening each day, the 42,350 agents employed by the TSA are simply not enough. More than 700 new officers are set to be hired by June, but union leaders say it would take at least 6,000 to alleviate the congestion. Currently, the only other alternative is PreCheck, an expedited entry program which allows previously vetted passengers to bypass the long lines. As of March 1, 2016, only 9.3 million travelers were enrolled in PreCheck, a far cry from the TSA's goal of 25 million flyers. In the meantime, the rest of us will just have to give up 3 hours of our lives for a security check that may or may not be effective. Or take the train.
New U.S. travel ban targets electronic devices. The U.S. government is set to ban airline passengers from carrying any electronic device larger than a cell phone in their hand luggage. According to reports, the temporary ban on electronic items and hand luggage will apply to non-stop flights to the U.S. from 8 countries in the Middle East and North Africa. 10 airports are reportedly affected. Saudi Arabia's official news agency said that flights from Riyadh and Jeddah were impacted. Royal Jordanian Airlines said the ban affects its flights to New York, Chicago, Detroit, and Montreal. Royal Jordanian said, however, that cell phones and medical devices were excluded from the ban. According to reports, the ban is in response to an unspecified terrorist threat and could be implemented as soon as Monday next week. Aviation experts said the nature of the ban suggested the government was acting on intelligence about a possible terrorist attack. They speculated the government may be concerned about insufficient passenger screening or conspiracies involving airport insiders in the affected countries. Boeing says commercial hypersonic jets could be a reality. The CEO of Boeing said at the Paris Air Show that commercial hypersonic jets will become a reality in the next decade or two, which will drastically cut down on current air travel times. Hypersonic generally refers to speeds of Mach 5 and above, which is faster than supersonic and more than 5 times faster than transonic speeds. A hypersonic jet can travel from New York to Shanghai in just 2 hours, whereas a conventional commercial flight usually takes around 15 hours. However, objects traveling at hypersonic speed have to withstand surface temperatures of up to 1,000 degrees Celsius, enough to melt aluminum and titanium. The two elements are common materials used in current aircraft construction. Sonic booms created by flights traveling at hypersonic speeds would also generate a noise on the ground that can permanently damage human ears. Despite the failure of the Concorde and skepticism over ultra-fast airliners, some companies have made continuous efforts to try to turn supersonic travel into a reality. Boom Technology is developing a 55-seat supersonic jet that it hopes will be in service by next decade. Lockheed Martin is also developing the quiet supersonic technology X-plane that it hopes will eliminate the problem of sonic booms.